person and virtually, all community board meetings will require an in-person quorum, which we have here, to come to order and conduct business. Board members are expected to attend meetings in person unless they have a disability or extraordinary circumstance as defined by the New York State Open Meetings Law. Excused committee members and members of the public will still be able to participate virtually. Committee members who are joining via Zoom must leave their cameras on. We encourage members of the public to join virtually. The MCB4 hybrid policy can be found on our website. Tonight's meeting is still being recorded and is currently live streaming on YouTube. As I think most regular attendees of these meetings know, we will go through our agenda one at a time in the order it's presented. With each item, we will hear from the applicant first, then they'll take questions from the committee, and then we will invite anyone from the community and public to speak. The only people you're seeing on screen are the committee members and the applicants. When we call a particular agenda item, if you are in the attendees section of the meeting and would like to speak on that applicant, just use the raise hand function and we will move you over to the meeting at an appropriate time. I want to call everyone's attention to the fact that agenda item 6, 111 West 24th Street has adjourned again. So they will not be heard or discussed tonight. We expect they'll be at the December meeting. Without any preliminaries, I forget. Okay, all right.
The people who are online, they have some their disability page.
Okay. All right, we'll start with agenda item 1, 609 9th Avenue, Hibiscus Mexipro Inc. Is the applicant here?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, how are you? Can you hear me?
Make that full screen though.
Yeah, I know, I'm trying to. Yeah. All right, you want to tell us a little bit about your application?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. Hello, my name is Alejandro Torres. I currently have 2 other locations. One with full liquor. Our main location located in South Brooklyn on Highland Avenue. And now I'm looking to upgrade my existing wine and beer to a full liquor. We are a mom and pop taco shop, pretty much a fast food establishment. We don't have any live music. We don't have TVs. We don't have a bar. It's pretty much just to sell frozen margaritas. So yeah, I would like to see if the community board allow us to upgrade the license.
Okay. Just a couple of technical questions about the form you submitted. On page 2, you didn't circle any music. Are you going to have any kind of music? At least background music?
Background music. We currently have a very light music from Spotify, pretty much. Very light.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to circle background music. The other thing, there's a question on page 2 that says, will you agree to notify us before you make any changes to your method of operation? And you said no. Is there any reason for that? Or
I'm gonna assume that was a typo from the expediter. To be quite honest, I don't see why. On my part, there's definitely not a question why I shouldn't inform the community board if we're gonna change our method of operations. But as you can, I want you to be aware that I have all the locations, the same name, the same DBA, and that's how we all of our locations closes at midnight.
Right. So can we make that answer yes then, that you will notify us?
100% yes.
Okay. And then the last thing, you didn't answer the question about whether you're going to use a storm enclosure, which are those, plastic boxes that go around doorways in the winter.
And it was in the previous.
And before you said you were using one.
You're not using.
You're not using one. So
no, we are not using that. No, not at all.
So I'm gonna put that answer no.
Okay.
Okay. That's all I have. Anyone from the committee with questions, comments?
That's good.
Nellie, anyone from the community want to speak?
There's no one with a raised hand.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion.
Okay, all in favor? Anybody opposed?
Done.
Yeah, Nellie, is Barry the only committee member online?
No.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Oh.
Yeah. All right, agenda item 2, 311 West 43rd Street, Fushimi NYC.
Yes, I'm here.
The applicant here?
Yes,
Okay, you want to introduce yourself and then tell us a little bit about the application?
sure. Hey, my name's Tommy. I'm one of the manager for Fushimi at Times Square. Actually, this is our 5th location. We have 4 others, 2 in Staten Island and 2 in Brooklyn already for about 20 years. So we are an established Japanese fusion restaurant, and this is our 5th location. So the purpose of this application is to change our current business hour for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to 3 a.m. instead of the current 1 p.m. When we first came in, we didn't know why, the previous restaurant was operating to that late. So, because right now is the holiday season, we have some corporate entity that's inquiring about for their, end of the year parties, and some hotel guests around the corner here. They want to book the events here. So, the reason why we're changing it, because sometimes when they finish at 2 o'clock, or 1 o'clock, we hope they will leave, but sometimes they linger around. So we want to extend the hours so they can stay inside of restaurant, we're much safer for them to call their Ubers and such, so they can leave the premise without, causing a scene outside.
Have you had any issues with the neighbors or problems on the street or anything?
Not really. We did one event so far, but we hired security here, just to make sure everything's goes no problem here. We try not to let the guests out. So usually, our security team does a very good job on that.
Well, if anyone knows that block, probably it can use some late night activity. This is very near the corner of 43rd and 8th, which has been a problematic corner for various illegal activities. So I think, animating it, later on with established business, may not be a bad thing. Because you probably saw, they also had some petitions, including a lot of people from this block who signed on. One question about the form. On your capacity, when you had number of seats, you have this odd 2468. On your prior form, you changed that to 210 seats. Can we do that again here?
I'm sorry. So can you repeat that?
Oh, the number of seats on page 2 of the stipulation form. What you have in the form now is 2, 4, 8, and 10, which I think are the table sizes, maybe. So what we want is the total. And when you applied last time, you had 210 seats as the total. Is that the right number?
Yeah, about, yeah.
Okay, so we'll change that to 210 seats.
That's fine.
Okay. Christine.
Yeah, so this block is very commercial, generally, but they just built a residential building, which goes from 43rd to 42nd.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Is it open yet? No, it's not. Have people moved in?
I don't know that, but I mean, eventually
Yeah.
they will, right?
Yeah.
So I think we need to understand a little better what they are going to do for preventing, noise in the street during the night.
Yeah, so did you hear the question, Tommy?
Yes, actually, the building in question, they still under construction. It's not done yet. But if you notice, just around the corner of the 8th Avenue, I'm sorry, on the corner of the 8th, where the turning point to come to 43rd Street, there's a lot of police activity there. Like the police, park their cars. There's a lot of police patrolling the area.
Yeah, but that's not my question. My question is, when the building is built and we have residents living in there, when you have parties living between 1 and 3 in the morning, how are you going to manage so that there is not loud people, walking in the streets?
That normally our events, like, this only for special events, not like we're doing it every single week, every single night. The purpose is like the end of the year, so we have some corporate inquiries, for their guests that are coming from other states that stay by the nearby hotel, and they want to host it, around like 1 o'clock. So, when it's finished at 1 o'clock, they call Ubers and such to go home. So we don't want them to stay outside. We want them to stay inside, wait for the Uber to come to pick them up instead of staying outside where they might cause a scene.
For managing them so that they can stay inside.
Yeah, stay inside, like the winter time is coming, for them to call Uber inside, waiting inside, I think it's a much better choice than for them to stay outside congregated and it might cause a noise outside. So that's the purpose of us, extending the business hour. It's not really for
So are you gonna stay open till 3 AM only when you have an event? Or if you have no event, are you gonna be taking regular reservations?
if no event, like our normal hour on a weekday, we close at 10:30. By 10 o'clock, usually all the guests is finished. Well, the only reason why we're extending it is only for special occasions. It's not an every day, every week business that we're doing that.
Okay, so what step did you want?
Just wanted to stick which said that when they have a party, which, finishes after 1 o'clock, that they will make sure that people stay inside until they get their transportation.
Yeah, we usually, when we have event like that, we have a security team on site just to make sure everything's smooth and no problem.
Nosy crowd,
Okay.
which I think that's what he's saying, he's going to do.
Just because it is a brand new block and it's gonna be a busy road start down there, they're gonna try to do valet or anything?
I'm sorry?
I don't think there's any.
We don't offer valet service here, actually.
There is a parking garage.
Yeah, there's two parking garage, maybe like about 45-second walk down from us, just right across from the playground. There's two parking garage there.
Okay, I'm just thinking restaurants on like 8 months, whatever, but yeah, I don't want that to happen.
Okay.
Okay, so we'd like to add an additional stip, Tommy, that says, when applicant has events ending after 1 AM, applicant will take steps to ensure that patrons do not congregate outside the establishment.
Definitely. That's why we have security, try, to keep order. We'll definitely do that.
Okay, so we're gonna add that to the form as well.
No problem. That's fine. No problem.
Okay, anyone else from the committee? Nellie, anyone from the community?
No, there's no one with the raised hand.
Okay,
Motion.
all in favor? Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
all right, moving on to agenda item 3, 265 West 20th, B Bamba Group LLC.
Michael Kelly representing the applicant. George Guzman is with us. George, unmute.
Yes, hello, everybody.
Okay, this is a full liquor license upgrade application for Bibamba Group LLC, doing business as Lamano Wine Bar. The applicant started out with a DBA Cafe Bamba. They've been open and operating with a tavern wine license since December of 2015. We will be a tavern with a tapas menu that will offer different items each day based on our menu downtown. We originally had 9 tables with 26 seats and a service bar. George is remodeling, ending up with 5 tables, 15 seats, and a 7-seat bar.
You anticipated that question.
Yes. Okay. The occupancy will go from 26 to 22. We did have a sidewalk cafe with 4 tables and 8 seats, and now operate under the open restaurant seating program. We'll be upgrading our menu to more of a tapas menu that will mimic our other tapas bar at 39 Christopher Street, which has been a success with our neighbors. They've had an OP license, which was also upgraded from a wine license. They've been there since 2018. There's no deliveries. There'll be background music only. We currently have a street shed and we'll apply for one in the future. We did have a sidewalk cafe, as I stated, but won't have sidewalk seating in the future. There's just no room there. George also owns and operates Temeraria next door at 198 8th Avenue, which has been open and operating since January of 2016 with an on-premise liquor license. George also owns a Friender at 113 7th Avenue South with an OP since May of 2010. We notified all the block associations on the list. I heard back from Sally at the CCBB and Melissa Stern, who just had questions. If anyone has questions, we'll be happy to answer.
Yeah, Michael, looks like you're also extending your closing hours, right? It was 11 o'clock on the prior stiff form. And now
Yeah.
it's 2.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mention that. Yes, he was
Yes.
looking for 2 a.m. 7 days a week. We don't know if we'll
Okay.
be open those hours, but he wanted the
Yeah.
option.
And then the other thing is, you probably anticipate this one, you say you're gonna use the storm enclosure?
Yes, a small one.
Okay,
He
so
knows-
you agree to the usual stip that it won't extend more than 18 inches from the building facade?
Yeah.
Which is what the law is?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have. So the changes again are staying open 3 hours later to 2 a.m. and then going from a beer and wine license to full liquor.
I mean, I don't have a problem with this, but I should say it is a pretty quiet block, and you know, I'm surprised we didn't hear from anyone on the street. But they've been an excellent neighbor. I haven't heard anything or seen anything walking by there, and actually I haven't tried it out yet, and I will. But I think just to raise it.
Okay, well,
to raise that for people's attention.
yeah, we can see if anyone's here. We didn't get anything or any submissions in writing.
Yeah.
Michael, you did put up signs and everything, right? And notify everybody, notify all the
Yeah.
block association.
We sent
Okay.
pictures of the signs. We notified every block association on the list.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the committee?
So I'm confused about, on the application, you are saying, we will be applying for a sidewalk cafe, but then you just said no.
Well, no, he has,
We have a sidewalk cafe, or they had a sidewalk cafe. Well, in the future, we'll apply for the open restaurant or whatever it's called in the street only. There'll be no seating on the side.
Okay, so why don't we say that?
well, no, but they have, no seating on the sidewalk?
Yeah,
Okay.
they say
But-
we will be applying for a sidewalk cafe, which is.
Well,
not-
where's your seating, where's your open restaurant seating now, Michael, on the sidewalk or the street?
In the street,
Okay.
Right.
So I think what we're stumbling on is the wording of sidewalk cafe.
Right, we need to say open,
Why don't we say- Yeah, we'll be applying, we'll change on page 2, the sidewalk cafe to a roadway dining license.
But
Okay.
we are not approving that anyway, right?
Well, no, he
And-
already has, he's in the open restaurants program and operating, so he's allowed to
Oh,
continue.
yeah,
It's not a new open restaurants
Got it.
application.
yeah.
once,
Okay.
once the street seating goes into effect, we would have to come back before you.
Yeah,
Right,
so I'm gonna change, you'll be applying for sidewalk cafe license to you'll be applying for roadway dining license. And he does say that elsewhere, we're seating for
Oh.
restaurant seating in the
yeah,
street.
yeah. That's why,
Yeah.
that's why I was. confused.
Okay. All right, Nellie, anyone from the community?
No, there's no one.
Okay. Jesse, you want to have any further discussion about the hours?
I don't, I just want to make sure.
Okay, do we have a motion then? Second, okay, all in favor?
Thank you, guys.
Anybody
very much.
opposed, et cetera? No. Okay, good luck, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, guys.
agenda 401 West 25th Street, Pushcart Coffee, Chelsea. Is anyone here from the applicant? Nellie, is there anyone,
Someone has raised hand.
Oh, yeah, somebody has to be moved over.
yeah, let's see. Yeah, there's James Rogers, is in the attendees list, Nellie.
Yes. Hi, sorry, so sorry. I was I was dealing with my infant son. It's bedtime, so I'm multitasking. Can you guys hear me okay?
1 second, Nellie, did Justin have his hand raised about the prior applicant or this one?
Justin should be with me. He's
Okay.
the manager.
Okay, Where is it? Where-
Okay.
Oh, please, Justin. Okay.
Okay, Nelly, can you move him over as well?
Yeah,
Yes,
and
I
you guys can hear me okay,
Okay.
right?
All right, wanna tell us a little bit about what you want here?
Sure, yeah. So I'm the owner of Citizens of Chelsea. We're on 25th and 9th Avenue. We've actually been there in we have been there in different forms since 2013. Originally as a more of a traditional kind of coffee pastry shop, and then 2016 we converted to a full brunch cafe where we've been operating as Citizens of Chelsea ever since. We've had a wine and beer permit since the beginning, and we are seeking a upgrade to full liquor, and a slight extension of the hours on certain nights to give us more options in terms of of service in the evening hours.
Okay, I had a question about the capacity numbers on page 2 of the form. You know, you have a C of O of 206. Maximum number of people you have is 100, but yet you only have 24 seats. Why the discrepancy? Is this like a big space with not many seats, or what's
Sorry, I didn't realize we only had 24 listed. We do have Justin,
what you put down was 8 tables and 24 seats.
yeah, that's not, yeah, Justin, you want to go ahead and speak to that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, half the space is like more in a restaurant form, and then and then I'd say like 20% of the space is more of like a coffee, an espresso bar to go. But we should have listed more seats than 24. I think our current seating count is about 54.
Okay, so can you get us in the next 10 days accurate numbers, both for the number of tables and number? It's basically page 2 of the form, where you have a number for your C of O, the maximum number of people you expect in there, and the number of tables, number of seats.
Yep, we can do that.
You still don't have any bar with seating, right?
Correct.
It's only tables and chairs.
Correct. Yeah, I think what we must have done is inadvertently put the number of tables where we meant that, where we're supposed to put the number of seats. So we'll get that corrected.
All right, Natalie, when do we need those numbers by?
I will need that by the 29th.
Okay, well, we can get it to you by tomorrow. It's not a problem.
Yeah, okay. That's all I have. Any?
Just a quick
Yeah.
question. I couldn't see on my small phone. Did you post regarding this meeting? Did people notice about the meeting? By posting something on the door?
We did, yeah. Justin, do you want to give sort of the full breadth of the outreach we did?
Yeah, sure. We posted the notice on our front door, and we also took a photo and put it in our application on the in our Dropbox. And then we also reached out to everybody on the community list as well. I think it was around like 115 email addresses.
Yeah. Anything else? Anybody else? Anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know their outdoor dining kind of blocks the door, so I don't think anyone would be able to see it going by. And I just have a concern with the 2 a.m. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They've not had a full liquor license. It is more of a coffee bar. It seems to be turning into a bar. With not a lot of food.
Well, let's back up a minute. Do they have, the form doesn't indicate any outdoor seating, do they have?
They have like gargantuan, it's bigger than inside.
Okay, so, we need you to, on the form, as you'll see, there's a line that says, outdoor seating other than sidewalk cafe, so we're gonna need you to get those numbers in as well. The number of tables, number of seats you have outside, but then, so I'm a little confused by the way you answered page 6 then, which is the outdoor items other than sidewalk cafe. You said a lot of these questions aren't applicable, like whether you'll close at 10 and 11, whether you won't allow patrons to stand, all that stuff.
Yep.
So I think we need you to answer that. We probably need you to answer those tonight, because it could affect. All right, so.
Yes. I
Do you
can
have
clarify.
page Do you have page
Yes.
6 of our form there?
Yeah, let me pull it up. But let me also clarify, we have no intention of serving any alcohol in the, in the seating that's outdoors. That seating is, pandemic era, and in the city, obviously with the law that was passed earlier this year is going to change the regime. So we have no intention of ever using that outdoor space for alcohol. And TBD on what it looks like.
Could we then include a stipulation that says that there'll be no alcohol service in any outdoor space?
Yeah. Just again, I want to double check from a management perspective, Justin, is that's commensurate with our business model.
Correct. Yeah, that's not a sidewalk permit. It's actually under open streets permit from COVID era. So we're happy not to include that in our liquor license.
And you'll have to come back anyway for your outdoor seating when the new rules are in effect at that point, if you want to change your mind about that. But, we ask that if you have outdoor seating with alcohol, that you actually have people waiting on those people out there. So it sounds like that is not your business model anyway. But if you could get us the numbers for your open restaurants, outdoor dining as well, that would be great.
Yep, and just include that in the on page 6. I think that's what confused. Yeah, I think that's what confused us was the page, which page 6 was. We thought it was regarding sort of the traditional outdoor dining permit process, like not the COVID process. So we'll just add that information to page 6.
Okay, but yeah, just so for the big questions, do you close it and vacate it by 10 and 11? 10 p.m. weekdays, 11 p.m. weekends?
Yep.
All right. We do. Yep. We do.
We'll make that yes. No music out there, right?
Correct. No music.
No.
Okay, so I'm going to change that answer to yes, that there will be no amplified music. Your answer is yes. Okay, I think those are the big answers for there. Now, how about the hours?
Yeah, they've not had a liquor license. They've just had wine and beer. It's traditionally more of a coffee shop. There's not a lot of food, and they're not going to have a lot of food at night. So I think extending the hours Thursday, Friday, Saturday till 2 with full liquor is kind of turning it into more of a bar because it's not a restaurant. So I would hesitate.
I was concerned about that too. Did you look at their menu?
Yeah, I've been there.
No, they're updated menu.
Yeah.
I think this is is it an updated menu for this expanded hours? Is that correct? Justin?
Yeah, I wanted to quickly. So as Jamie mentioned earlier, we changed our model to more of a brunch restaurant about 7 years ago. So 75% of our sales come from food. So we're actually far less of a coffee shop today than we've ever been. We're more of a restaurant. And we are indeed expanding our hours to continue that model. So we're not intending at all to be a bar. We're more intending to continue what we already do, is more of a food forward business. And I think mostly we apply for 2 a.m. for events. And I think it's almost similar to that last candidate that spoke as well. We don't intend really to be open to 2 a.m. at all. It'd be more just for the occasional events that come in for people who want to hire out for events of any kind of corporate buyouts. We do that kind of thing as well.
I mean,
I think with their menu, I'm like, okay, this is like a new neighborhood spot with my macaroni at night, coming home, want to take this, but I don't want it to be like a flat bar.
Right.
I want it to be a neighborhood, keep the hours low.
Maybe 1 o'clock for now until we see how they do. I just think it's quiet there, nothing else is open that night.
And it's nothing big inside and outside. It is a little bit weird with the outdoor seating that.
Yeah, it's an L. Takes up everything.
It's your worst nightmare.
Yeah, it takes up everything. It's like a monster.
It is. It's
Well,
so
do you
hard.
have a
It's
space,
not fire,
do you have the
it's a higher
space of
area.
8 feet to walk? Or
No.
not?
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Outside
let's ask for that.
Okay.
So when you put your open dining out there, with the interim, you're supposed to leave 8 feet for pedestrians
On the sidewalk.
on the sidewalk.
Both sides.
Yeah.
On both sidewalks. I mean, I'm hearing here that you don't. Do we have a drawing of their,
No.
outdoor space? Okay.
I don't think we've included a drawing in our submission tonight. No. No, I don't think we've included that.
If you are not providing 8 feet, you are illegal.
Well, sorry, I wanna make sure we're staying focused on the application upgrade tonight is only for the interior space. The outdoor seating is legal under the pandemic era open dining permit, and we have a.
If you don't have the 8 feet clearance, it's illegal under the pandemic guidelines. So
Okay.
the question is that we're going to stay very focused, but we cannot tell you to upgrade to 2 o'clock in the morning if a portion of your operation is not legal. So we need to address that and then go back to, okay, well, then maybe 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock, but you cannot have a whole space hogging the space legally. Yes.
So, Justin,
Yeah.
Yeah, we have submitted all of our drawings to the DOT and they've been all approved. So we are legal as far as we know. We've got our license. We can submit that as part of our package too.
okay,
We've been inspected. That space has been inspected multiple times as well.
okay, well, can you send us that application? That your
Sure.
DOT open restaurants?
Well, what we want is pictures of what's happening today,
Right.
because the application is one thing,
Yeah.
the way you lay it out could be totally
Yeah,
different.
see, that's the issue, Justin, that, you know, the DOT may have approved it with an 8-foot pedestrian clear path on your diagrams. But if that's not, you know, what your staff is setting up, which does happen, whether intentionally or not.
Okay.
You know, you're not, you wouldn't be in compliance with your own drawings. But that is definitely one of the things under open restaurants that they really look at is to make sure there is that, when they're approving the plans, is to make sure there's that 8-foot clear path.
Okay, no problem. I can send that over the DOT license with the drawings, and then happy to field any questions on that, because I think, yeah, I was surprised to hear that comment. I think as far as I know, it's actually a bit of like a little shelter structure that we've built, and we haven't changed that to my knowledge at all. So I'm happy to submit that and field any questions. And
well,
I think
do you think you have 8 feet free of the sidewalk now? I mean,
Everywhere.
it's sort of, you know, it's pretty clear what 8 feet is. It's like 1.5 sidewalk paving steps.
Yeah, I know on the 25th side, I believe there's 8 feet there. On the 9th Avenue side, there's like a garden bed indent that comes in right next to Jun Ramen Bar. And I believe I'd have to check that part to make sure that we're not. Yeah, I'd have to check if our structure comes out that far. I believe that we stopped the structure before that garden bed, but I want to make sure that I'm speaking accurately.
All right, so I'd like to put in a stipulation that says you'll ensure that there's an 8-foot pedestrian clear path on all sidewalks, okay?
Okay, no problem. I'll make a note to submit you guys the DOT and the drawings as well.
Yeah, okay, as well as the updated numbers.
But the pictures too.
Yeah, and if you can send us some I think there were some pictures.
Nothing showing else.
No, nobody else.
Okay, all right. Let's
Gotcha.
get back to the hours, but let's see first. Nellie, is there anyone from the community here on this?
There's no one with a raised hand.
Okay. Anybody have anything else?
One more question, just I'm sorry, about the clarifying, what are they saying about the vestibules? They're going to have it or not have it? I don't understand those clauses.
Oh, yeah. I got mine printed out badly.
You mean a winter vestibule? An air
Yeah.
curtain in the winter? Yeah, we typically have one in the winter. But they're
Right,
supposed
and
to-
it's illegal too.
Wait, so, but then they answered wrong because the X's mean what they're answering.
No,
No, you see here, yes, well, they do it and they provide the
We do
phone.
have one in its monster,
Okay.
like a little.
All right, so when you filled out the form,
Right.
what do the X's mean? Is that what you're checking off as yes? look on page 5 when you say. Yeah, see, they have to be yes, because otherwise they don't make any sense. There's a bit of
Yeah,
process.
they're marked as the answer. Yeah, correct. We typically do have a vestibule, but since COVID era, since we've had this structure up, we don't put the vestibule up anymore because it doesn't fit. There's a structure there now, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Okay, so are you gonna have a storm enclosure going forward or not?
No.
Okay, but if you do ever, it can't stick out more than 18 inches from the front of your building.
Okay.
All right, Ted.
I just wanted to say this for the board and for the applicant. In 6 days, they're supposed to be doing a hearing for DOT to have the comments, and the rules and regulations are supposed to be out in December. And they're supposed to be taking new applications for the 2024 seating situation, so they might change before he goes to the full board. So it's something that we might want to start.
I think that's optimistic, given how complicated those rules are.
Well, yeah, maybe, but I mean, it's something.
The hearing itself may be going on until December.
I mean, it's something that we should think about because we might have to start actually, going into that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we don't have control over when they'll give this amount of that.
Okay, Jesse, did you have something else?
No, that's okay.
Christian?
I'm indifferent on the 1 to 2 a.m.
So what hours do you have now? Midnight across the board?
Midnight across the board.
Midnight every night.
Yeah.
Hi, I have a question.
Sorry.
That's okay. I'm just wondering if you reached out to the community about the change of hours.
I did, yeah. In the letter that I sent, it talked about upgrading to full liquor, what we wanted to do, and also increasing our hours.
Because I feel like if there was, sufficient outreach done and nobody is here and we got no letters, just changing the hours to 1 feels a little arbitrary to me. So I'm okay with the hours.
All right, well, let's see, just sort of straw poll, how many are okay with the proposed 2 a.m. hours?
I am. I just think maybe security for having a big event, because it is a bad corner.
Well, I don't want to lock them in with a stick, but I think we're gonna be okay with the 2 a.m., but if you ever have like an event with 100 people there going until 2 a.m., you may want to consider, hiring security for the night or something. Because that's sort of a lot of people, and 2 a.m. is pretty late at night. All right, so what we have is a few additional steps. You're gonna get us updated numbers for inside and out by November 29. Then 2 additional steps. There'll be no alcohol service in any outdoor space, including sidewalk and roadway. And applicant will ensure that a 8-foot pedestrian clear path is maintained on all sidewalks. You okay with those?
And the best.
No, they said no.
No, storm enclosure.
All right, but is it,
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, with those steps, do we have a motion? Second,
Second.
all in favor? Anybody opposed? President not eligible, abstaining? All right, thank you.
Great, thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.
Good night.
Thank you.
All right,
Okay, bye.
so next one is 857 9th Avenue, CKH Hospitality. Nellie, we weren't expecting anyone from the applicant. Is anyone here?
The applicant, no, the applicant is not here.
Okay.
There is 2 people from the public here, yes.
Okay. Well, let me just set the stage and then we'll hear from the public. This application came before this committee last month. And I wasn't here, but as I understand it, there was no public comment or anything. It was a beer and wine license ending at 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. and got approved without additional steps. A couple days after that, we got a letter from board offices for the co-op that encompasses the residential units in this building, raising a bunch of issues. When we got that, Bert's suggestion was that, and then we asked the applicant to come back to this meeting. And Nellie, what if they said no, or they didn't respond?
They said no.
They said no. So the applicant's not here. In light of all this, Bert suggested rather than vote on it as a full board, it be sent back to this committee, which is why we're here. I suggest we hear from the members of the community who are here to speak on it, and then we can consider what to do. A lot of the issues are raised in their letter.
Yeah.
Okay, Nellie, can you move over the people from the community?
We have them to just speak on the most salient details of the story.
Yeah.
Not repeat the whole thing.
And again, we've read your letter, so if you just sort of maybe take 2 minutes to summarize the big points, that would be great.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'm having an issue moving them over.
Yeah. Oh, just one clarification to the people from the community. Your letter raises the issue that they say the 500-foot rule does not apply. That is in fact correct. They're only seeking a beer and wine license, and the 500-foot rule just doesn't apply to beer and wine licenses. Okay, Mr. Lane, you want to go ahead?
Thank you so much. Can you hear me okay?
You're very faint.
I apologize. This is my a laptop I don't use that often. Am I any better?
A little better, but just talk as loud as you can.
Okay. I actually, if you've read the letter, I don't have a lot more to add than that, but I do have a question. If it's possible to put a flag on this address, because the applicant was rejected a number of years ago for the exact same reasons that we are opposing right now. And the applicant didn't notify us and didn't, we don't think they put a sign up appropriately. We didn't know about this until the very last minute. So I'm wondering if it's possible to let the board know that anytime this address comes up again, we most likely were not notified, and we most likely may have problems with it unless the tenant radically changes their behavior.
Yeah, that's a little difficult for us to do, given the size of the community board. What we do have is a email list that we ask applicants to send to everyone. So there's like a Chelsea email list, there's a Hell's Kitchen list that has all the block associations of things. And those people, our understanding is, did get notice of that. So I think we could have your co-op.
That would be lovely if you don't mind doing that. There's a number of us here
You're
who are
gonna get
engaged.
10 or 20 emails a month.
I get thousands of emails a day, so it's not that big of a deal.
We can't sort of look at every building. The other thing you can do, though, is our agendas are posted on our website 5 days before the meeting. So last Friday, the agenda for tonight was posted on the Community Board 4 website. So you can always keep track of that way and just look at the agenda every month in the 5 days before the actual meeting. But there is not, we really do not have a lot of lead time on these applications. We basically have to take action within 30 days of when we first hear about it. So it's not like notice was short here. We're operating on a very constrained time frame period. So the reality is usually there's only about 5 days notice to the community of an applicant appearing before us.
I do appreciate that, and that's certainly more notice than we got. And I'm sure you can appreciate how busy we are as just citizens of the city. If I can just impress upon the board members, like anytime this address comes up, just take a pause and maybe think about it, because there's just so many problems. I understand you can't do that as a matter of policy,
We'll
but
try to do that, but I have no estimate of how many addresses we have in Community Board 4.
Understood.
So, we've got to sort of work in tandem with this, and, ask you guys to sort of keep an eye on things from your end as well. So are you saying there was, so this was previously licensed, right? There has been, There was a place called Casa Supreme across the park, Casa Supreme in here.
I think that was
Yeah.
an applicant back in 2020. There was a wine bar that sort of a number of years before that sort of kicked off all of the problems with noise and people on our stoop. But they since left a while ago. My recollection, and I wasn't as engaged as others were, and perhaps I should just yield to Anetta, but there was an application in 2020 for the same exact space, the taco place.
So, all right, so as I said, we've read the letter. I guess what I'd like to focus on are the issues you have with, you know, this particular, not, you know, I understand you have a lot of problems in the building generally, which we're sympathetic about, but we really have to look at this applicant and whether they'll be an acceptable operator and whether this kind of business belongs in your building. So if you could focus on, very briefly, on the concerns you have about, you know, this place opening in this space, whether it's because of the applicant or the nature of the business, or whatever.
I think my there's two main concerns that I have. One being lack of clarity about who the applicant actually is. They've represented themselves to us as various LLCs over the years, and now we're seeing a new LLC, CHK Chicken Hospitality, which appears to be, in at least the name on the application, is an employee of yet another LLC called Tower Brokerage. Our concern is that if something does happen, all of these LLCs are going to disappear, and me and my neighbors are going to be left with the liability of whatever happens. And as my letter elucidates, no matter who the LLC who responds to our phone calls is, they don't resolve any of the outstanding issues, which include a overflowing grease trap, you know, odor from a poorly installed venting stack, things like air conditioning units that just appear overnight, numerous unauthorized constructions that create these building violations that we have to pay for and fix. So whatever.
Sorry, I'm just a little confused. Is this about the prior business that was operating there?
We have no idea. It's like, this is the concern. Like, another LLC popped up with this application that has the employee of another LLC that just recently bought the 99-year lease of a previous LLC. So like, what happens when somebody gets, you know, hurt and all of these LLCs just disappear? Like, who's going to pay for whatever liability exists? Right? Who's going to take responsibility for the people drunk on the stoop?
Okay, Charles, we're gonna have one committee member answer that.
Hi, nice to meet you, Charles. I'm the owner of Rise Next Door, and I've been there for plenty of years. I know that there was a Chinese restaurant there prior that used to do sushi for about 6 or 7 years. It's Casa Supreme, and now this new space. I'm not sure what's happening in terms of the ductwork or the you know, the cleaning of it, but you know, they are currently open selling food. And from my understanding is that the owner or the company that had the building sold it. So the former owner of the building has a 99-year lease and has been renting out these spaces underneath to the wine bar that you discussed earlier, which was Kilo, the sushi restaurant and this. So that's not really anything new. You know, in terms of what we can do here, we're here to vote on liquor license. And, you know, as we have sympathy for the, you know, the smells and stuff from the hood, I'm not really sure what type of breach we can do other than asking them to do that, because this is all would seem like it would be, you know, an issue with the building. And even if we decided not to give them the liquor license, because of these pending things, which I don't think that we would be able to determine on that. The fact is that they are still there right now operating, serving deep fried chicken wings. So I don't know if that's gonna really help if we don't get them, because they are already out in operation. So that's what I know about from what I hear about it. And I'm reading your concerns about everything. And a lot of it seems to have to do with the building, the landlord, and I think that might be outside of you know, what we can purview to do anything about those issues. It might be something that your owner has to take up with the building with, you know, the agreement what they have with the people on the first floor in terms of that
I
contract.
entirely agree with you. And what our concern is if we give this applicant additional responsibilities, those responsibilities are not going to be handled and they're going to be dumped on me and my neighbors to resolve. Like, I just don't know how responsible this applicant, whoever this applicant happens to be, whether they're going to take responsibility that comes with with something like a liquor license. It's just not clear to me. And that's what I'm asking the board to
I
consider.
mean, I might look into asking your landlord what type of insurance that they're requiring. You know,
We cannot get them to show us proof of insurance when they do construction. Like all of this stuff has been litigated for years, and we just have not had any sort of firm. They haven't taken any responsibility for anything yet, and that's why we're opposing this application.
So thanks, Ted. The context was really helpful. I didn't realize you were so close to this location. That's very helpful. The reality is that it is very difficult to oppose a beer and wine license. Because in the case of the full liquor licenses, there has to be what's called, as you noted in your letter, a 500-foot hearing, and an administrative law judge has to find that a license is in the public interest, which gives us a little leverage to sort of argue that we don't need another liquor license here. That step does not apply to a beer and wine license. And they're also seeking very limited hours, you know, only 11 p.m., 12 p.m. closing, 12 to 1 closing. So I think it is going to be very hard to get traction with the SLA in opposing this. And it's also the case, as my colleague Ted here just said, what the SLA is going to look at is the applicant, you know, is there some problem with the applicant? Do they disqualify from having a liquor license for some reason? But they will traditionally not look into, you know, other issues in the way the building is being maintained unless it affects the liquor license directly. So I guess the question we're wrestling with is this the right sort of forum or the right opportunity is there any way to help us, you know, help you deal with these problems in this context? And I guess that's what I'm having a little trouble with. Like, what do we know about, why do we think this applicant is going to be a bad operator? Yeah, Tina.
I personally am at a loss because frankly, I know nothing about the mechanics of this. I do know about hours and giving a liquor license. I just don't know giving a liquor license or not giving a liquor license is not gonna solve the problem.
Right.
That's all I know.
That's sort of Ted's point. Yeah.
Correct. So.
And it's a wine and beer, so.
Right.
Right.
They can follow it out.
Okay.
What was the question?
Sorry,
about-
Annetta, did you want to speak?
First of all, I want to say thank you very much for allowing us to speak and pushing back on this when we weren't notified. So just overall, I think our issues are noise issues or quality of life issues. They're noise issues, they're smell issues. We've already had problems with this this new chicken place with doing very loud work late at night, as well as, you know, the smell. I live on the 4th floor and the smell bothers me up here. So that's that's kind of the overall. I also have some very specific questions on the application. The application has 5 instances where they say to be provided at the CB meeting. So we haven't seen any of what was provided.
That's exactly that question I had.
And it also says a letter of no objection that is also not provided. So we haven't seen that letter of no objection. There also says that the owner will be available by cell phone, and there's a request for the cell phone to be listed on the application. It is not. The application also says that they will follow the recommendation of a certified sound engineer, but did not actually get that certified sound report. So that kind of seems to be in conflict. And please note, there are 3 of us here who are on vacation who are zooming in on this Zoom because we feel so strongly about this. And just in terms of motivation, so you understand that. So those are my
To answer one of your questions, we do not have the power to require an applicant to show us a C of O or letter of no objection. The way this will work is the liquor authority can demand that, and they will not grant a liquor license if the applicant does not have a certificate of occupancy or a letter of no objection. But at the time they come to us, they do not have to have that yet. They will only have to have it by the time they come before the SLA. Christine.
So the fact that they are not, I was looking for that, they are not willing to have their phone listed and to have a contact, and when the notice was done, etc. I think that if we were going to say, okay, we approve because we have to, right? But we want to note that those things have not been responded properly, and we would like the SLA to compel them to do that.
Yeah,
So
so we have this weird situation where I guess we didn't ask them last month.
No, but that's okay. Now that we are going to write a letter, we are asking the SLA to compel them to
Give us this information.
list this information that usually everyone gives, right? And which is very unusual that somebody would not. That's what I would do, and say, we can't fix we can emerge that the notice, it's not clear that the notice was sent. But what is most important is that there is a name and a cell phone number for complaints.
And they said yes, but they didn't provide it.
Right?
This isn't their number?
That's
Which
the
number?
attorney.
That's the attorney.
No. It says.
So there's an owner's number on the first page.
Right.
Left-hand side.
But they say, will applicant provide a cell phone number to neighbors?
And it's not. They
And
said yes,
complain.
but they
They
didn't
say yes,
provide
but
it.
then we can just put that in our letter.
Okay.
It's not the end of the world, right? Still have the SLA compel that to, and then they say, well, this is the same report, fine.
So just you're talking about the stuff on page 4.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. I would just, I would not make that a condition, but I would.
We
ask-
can't make it a
No,
condition
but
at
I
this
would
point,
ask the
because they're not here.
SLA to compel them.
So we're basically talking about who they notified.
And
Who they call if there's a problem.
And then who they call when there is a problem, and we said, we think it would be helpful if the SLA would compel them of providing that information to the community board.
All right, well, what I would suggest, because they have been communicating with Nellie, Nellie, can you reach out in the next couple of days and, ask them, because they did say they were gonna give it to us, and they evidently didn't.
Right.
So ask them if they will now give us all the stuff on page 4. And you can tell them that, otherwise we're gonna write to the SLA and urge the SLA to require them to give us that information.
Right,
But they may just give it to us, I don't know.
that's fine.
Yeah,
Then it's fine.
all right, so I guess what we're talking about is trying to get it from them, and if not, a letter to the SLA, just sort of flagging this and asking for that information.
I don't know if this is something that we can ask for, but I might think it'd be beneficial for the tenants. If you have any sort of ductwork, it needs to be cleaned every 6 months with a fresh tag on it for the fire department. If they can just provide that to show that it's cleaned, the ductwork, maybe that will help resolve some of the smell issues that they're having. Or
Well,
you can,
we can ask.
I have a question on that. I was kind of thinking something on that. I was like, do we need to write a separate letter to DOB to make sure there's enough people making enforcements? If we have all these empty storefronts and new restaurants are coming in, can they exhaust, hold this to make this okay for the building? Like if we're having, if this is something.
We
that's
have never
happening.
done
We've
that
never
through
done-
this.
That's what I was like, this isn't
Because
even
we had
something this committee
huge
does,
problems
but.
with that Asian place on 9th and 47th. Remember, Jesse was going nuts trying to get them to fix their ventilation. What's the name? The fast food place.
I just-
I forgot their name.
Yeah, I mean, this is.
But yeah, we've always done it administratively. It's not really this committee, because we really don't
Yeah,
have expertise in all these DOB issues.
that's where.
And I don't even know if
where
it's a
would it
DOB,
be
it might
something
be
we
the
would be-
department.
FDNY,
Yeah.
right, so that gets.
Where would that go to?
Right.
If we did,
Probably 311 to the fire department, right?
So maybe that's something that.
And
Yeah, here's what I would suggest on those issues. Charles and Nanette, is that you write separately to the community board office about like sort of these building issues you have, like smells and ductwork, and ask for, I mean, if you can just cut and paste your letter and just ask if they have any advice on how to
Well,
proceed.
they need first to file 311, you know, the nuisance protocol.
Okay.
So you need to first file 311 complaints. And when you have filed 2 or 3, then you can get those numbers and then write to the community board and say, we really would like some help into getting attention to it.
Right, and this is all, there's a thing called the nuisance reporting protocol on the community board 4 website. You can read that and explains how to do it all. But I think as you're hearing, you know, we have sort of 2 groups of issues, and it seems like your major issues are sort of building issues and, you know, are not sort of directly connected to this applicant yet, as, you know, as far as we can tell.
At least not that this group can resolve, let's say. Yes.
Sorry, I just have two more things to say. Also, in terms of the application, just my problems with the application, the application shows the floor plans for the ground floor and also the basement. And right now, what they're proposing for the basement is something that we're in the middle of negotiating. So it's not, it's misleading because that part of the process has not been finished yet, A, and then B, the last letter of no objection that I saw for this space said that there was no objection because there was no C of O for the space to begin with, which was inaccurate because there is a C of O and it says food shops and not restaurants. So I don't know if that's.
Again, these are issues we cannot take up, and the SLA takes up the letter of objection kind of things. So this
Copy that, thank you.
Yeah, divergent.
But I guess if I'm hearing right, you may be challenging the accuracy of the letter of no objection, in which case I think you have to go to the Department of Buildings over that.
Right.
Because once they send the letter, you know, we have no power to tell them you're wrong. You're the people with the facts. You need to try to convince them to revoke the letter or take some other steps.
I think we should take it on.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, Pat, have we heard from everybody from the community on this?
Okay.
No, there's one more person. There's Adrian.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we have a long agenda to go, but do you have anything new to add?
I mean, I'm gonna make it super quick, just kind of reiterating specifically in relation to the smell issue. I'm a owner occupant fairly recently in the past year or so, and the smell issue from the restaurant downstairs has been problematic to the point of being nauseating. When it was a taco shop, it was nonstop taco smell. Now that it's a fried chicken shop, it's every time they're open during business hours, it smells like fried chicken. I guess I'm just speaking to the point of being good neighbors, that they should resolve some of the outstanding issues before asking for additional responsibility of having a liquor license. And yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Okay, thanks. Now, believe me, we're sensitive to the smell issues, which is why we have these questions about ventilation and so forth.
Okay.
All right, so I think what the proposal on the table is for Nellie to try to get the information that was promised to us on page 4 of the application, get it directly, and if the applicant's unwilling to supply it, to send a letter to the SLA asking them to provide that information. You folks from the community, you can write directly to the SLA as well, making, you know, your objections known. And again, if you need any contact information, you can get it from Nellie Gonzalez at the community board office. But the SLA will have a file on this. They will put, you know, all the letters in it, so you can make your concerns known directly to them.
Motion.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor?
Yes.
Anybody opposed, abstaining? Okay, if we get that information, oh, Mike, welcome, hi. If we get any of that information, we will, send, I think we have your contact information, we'll send it on to you. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, good luck, thanks. All right, number 6 has been adjourned, we're on to number 7, 304 West 56, Gray Dog, CPW.
Michael Kelly representing the applicant. With me is Peter Stein. This is an on-premise liquor license application for Gray Dog CPW Inc., doing business as Gray Dog. There's currently 2 of the Gray Dogs in CB4, 242 West 16, open and operating since 2009, 55 West 26, open and operating since October of 19. Both have on-premise liquor licenses. Their owners also have 3 others located in CB2 with on-premise liquor licenses. The applicants want to open in the space formerly occupied by Brico, which closed in October 2019. They were there from 10/17 to 10/19 under Brico Corp with an on-premise liquor license. The premise, from what I found, was also called Brico from 2011 to at least 2017. The space has been unoccupied since it's closed 4 years ago. This will be a full-service Gray Dog restaurant with the same menu as the other locations. They occupy 3 floors. The lower level, or cellar on the C of O, will be for storage. The ground level or basement on the C of O will have 22 tables with 50 seats and a 15-seat bar. Their occupancy on that floor is 75 on the C of O. The second floor, otherwise known as the first story on the C of O, will have 11 tables, 35 seats, and a 7-seat bar. The hours of operation will be 8 a.m. to 12 a.m., 7 days a week at the latest. There's background music. There won't be any outdoor seating at all. The sidewalks has a fire hydrant on it, so there's no street seating either. No outdoor seating at all. Background music, like their other locations, there'll be experienced managers on duty at all time. And the owners, like they do at all their new locations, will be on site at least 50% of the time. We did notify everybody on the community board list for the block associations. If there are any questions, we'll be happy to answer.
Okay, well, I actually don't have any questions myself. Anybody from the committee with any questions, comments, concerns? Nellie, anyone from the community?
No, there's no one.
Okay, Carrie or Mike, I don't see any hands up. Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion. Second.
All in favor? Mike, you vote? Yeah. Okay, so there are no abstentions, people not eligible and so forth. Okay, thank you, good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks for hanging in there with us.
Painless.
Okay, last 2 items I think we'll do together. It's agenda items 8 and 9, 25 11th Avenue City Winery. And they will explain, as I understand it, City Winery already has their main operation on Pier 57. And these are licensing, the same applicant, the same operator licensing additional spaces on the same pier. Dylan, is this you?
Yes, it's me. Dylan Rock, our Director of Systems and Licensing here. Also on the meeting is Danny Gannon, our Tax and Compliance Manager. So as you mentioned,
do you want to move over into the meeting? Is he going to speak?
We'll see.
Yeah,
I'll be taking most of it.
Can you move him over?
Yeah.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
What was the person's name?
Daniel Gannon. He's on here as a panelist. I'm
Yeah,
saying.
he's already on.
Why do we not see him?
He's at the top of the screen. He's here.
He doesn't have his camera on, and
Yeah.
I think he's calling in from a phone. So
No.
I see a little phone icon.
Got it. Okay. Sorry, Dylan. Go ahead.
So yeah, so as you've mentioned, City Winery, we're already at the front of Pier 57. We have our main main flagship headquarters out there. We're a music venue, concert chain, and winery out multiple locations across the country. With everything else going on in Pier 57, the landlords have offered us to take some additional restaurant spaces. One of them is all the way at the very end of the pier at that foothouse, and then another one on that outdoor level above it. It would be a fully enclosed building up there that they have. The reason we need to apply for 2 on-premise full liquor licenses is that the spaces are not contiguous with each other. So therefore, per SLA requirements, they would need their separate OP licenses. While we are a concert venue, these places are not going to have live music. It's going to be background recorded music only. There will be no outdoor seating. We're requesting the hours from 11 a.m. to 4 a.m. We wouldn't be open till 4 a.m. every day. We would just like the option for things such as special events and, whatnot. But, it's not necessarily always in our business interest to be doing that. So,
Dylan, are these going to be primarily event spaces, or are you going to operate them as restaurants?
They are both going to be full service restaurants.
And then I noticed we have applications for 2 spaces here, but I saw in the email you folks sent to the community, you talked about 3 spaces. So how many spaces is it?
It's two spaces. Due to the contiguity of each other, we only need 2 liquor licenses.
Okay, so maybe you were referring to the license you already have.
Yeah.
Okay. Christine?
So I'm not totally clear. I understand that the Hudson River Park rules is closing at 1 o'clock. And my impression is that all the restaurants and activities do close at 1 o'clock. So can you explain that?
That's removed from the SLA licensing, that the SLA would still, which is also both of them are New York State agencies, would still allow us the option to apply for the liquor license. When it comes on to Pier 57, the property management operations are run by another company, RXR, who we work with. So if they have any hours regulations, those are the people who we interface with.
But I just talked to the head of the park,
okay,
and the closing is 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Because we had an issue and I raised it and I said, wait a minute, how come? So I think we need to resolve that very clearly. RXR probably has a lease with the park.
Okay.
And this probably says 1 o'clock.
I mean, we could just change the language to the end of the closing time. I don't know. But.
Where are they exiting?
There's you can go through the pier. You can go through the pier and.
But are they exiting out of the pier then at that late night?
Yeah.
But from the pier, you go to the pier as part of the park.
Yeah, but
that's what she's supporting. Yeah. Remember, this is where we had a full board meeting. And one of the spaces, if you go slightly past where we had our meeting, there was that sort of closed off space.
Yes.
But yeah, right, when we were leaving at like 10 o'clock, we couldn't go through the building, we had to go outside.
So I think what we need is, I don't have a problem that location at 4 o'clock is fine with me, but I think we need a resolution, written resolution between RXR and the trust, saying at what time is the closing.
Yeah, so Bill, we've got like an information problem here, and it's gonna make us hard to vote.
Right.
Because we don't wanna, our understanding is establishments can't be open later than 1, so we don't wanna vote recommending approval with something with a 3 a.m. license. Is there any way, we have one more agenda item, is there any way you can get clarification from anyone in the next, 20 minutes or something?
Absolutely.
Okay, why don't we take up the next item? Sign back in when you're ready and we'll circle back to you.
I think that's going to be important to get in writing, especially.
Well, let's see what the answer is.
Okay.
I mean, if it's 1 AM, then maybe this, yeah, no, I don't doubt that, I just.
I think it's one
Yeah,
It says one here.
Right, but I mean, I just.
okay, all right, well, let's move on to. Agenda item 10, which I'll turn it over to Christine for the new proposed rules on outdoor dining. This
Right.
is going before 2 committees. It's coming to us first and then going to transportation later this week. Yeah.
Yeah, so I took all the rules and make a list of things which were good. And
You
bad.
actually found some that were good.
And no, there are things which are good. For example, the triplet. Finally, it's going to be at the triplet and we don't have to negotiate every time. And then another thing is the licensee shall not store trash except that in roadway cafe. And then commissioner's ultimate decision on the revocable consent. So there's a bunch of things which are kind of good. And then bad is not enormously bad, but it's not what we wanted. So you remember that whole issue of sidewalk widening, where when the sidewalk was, when the building was in recess from the sidewalk, there was not supposed to be any cafe in that space. So first of all, we have a rule which say only cafe entirely containing sidewalk widening are subject to commissioner approval. What they are saying is that otherwise it's subject to commissioner approval, but if everything is in the sidewalk widening, it's not. So I think all of it should be. Then there is the issue of community board. We are being given 40 days and 30 days. That doesn't work, right?
And why is it 2 different time periods?
Who knows?
Okay.
And then we have the hours of operation, which are midnight and 1 o'clock. And I was suggesting that we could propose that it's moved back to 10 and 11 when it is in a residential district.
Everything's in a residential district, wait. No, I have no problem with that.
I mean, you should be CB5 mostly not, right? Some streets on between 8th and 9th Avenue are not, right? So it's.
Well, how about commercial overlays? So 9th Avenue, would that be exempt? You know, 9th Avenue is a residential district,
Right.
Hell's Kitchen, but has a commercial overlay.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that there would be
Purely
a residential unit
Okay.
within 500. I don't think we're going.
Oh, okay, so you're not talking about zoning. you're
No,
talking
no.
about- okay.
I'm talking about, is there a residential
Well,
unit?
that would be basically.
500 feet, and then 500 feet, you're probably going to go back to 200 if we win something, right?
Is the line, sorry, is it midnight, 1 AM, weekday, weeknight, weekend?
It's all, oh.
Like, sorry,
That's what theirs is.
I mean,
No,
that's what
10 and 11.
we are proposed, I just didn't know what that meant,
Midnight and 1 is the
Yeah.
same thing,
Yeah.
right? 10 and 11, that's what we asked.
No, I got that, I just didn't know what the slash indicated.
So I'm
Weekday,
creating
weekday.
kind of a mitigated kind of thing, and we may not, obviously.
Yeah, Christine, 500 feet seems a lot. I mean, that's.
I know, but I'm putting it so we
To
know.
negotiate down, okay.
Right, yeah, so somebody said, oh.
They're gonna say, no, that's crazy, let's do 200.
Right, exactly,
Yeah.
So, so cafe is entirely on sidewalk widening. I think it should be subject to public review. Clear path is 50% of sidewalk widening. So we have a nice, so 50% of sidewalk widening. So what they are saying now is that if the sidewalk widening was 10 feet and there was a 14 feet sidewalk, so 14 plus 10 is 24, and the clear path would be 12. And that's fine, but if it's smaller, it doesn't work.
Right.
So I had multiple conversations with a lot of people and said, why don't we move it to 65%? And they all are kind of in agreement. So I think if we propose 65%, nobody's going to push back. Like Redney is not going to push back, and because we talked to them already. And then so the proposal would say, 65% instead of 50. It's not a big change, but it makes a big difference when it's a small sidewalk. Regional corridors will have the same clear path as smaller side street. Forget about that. I made a mistake on that. It's fine. sidewalk cafe is located within an area where only small sidewalk cafe, so that's part of the same thing, forget about that. Super sidewalk are the widening, the like on Ninth Avenue, the super sidewalk.
Like how wide is this?
And what we need to do here is to say, which I think that's what they are saying, is that the sidewalk, the super sidewalk is not part of the measurement. Right? It's excluded from any measurement. Plus, you cannot have a sidewalk cafe there. And I think that's fine, but we need clarification on that. And then we have a whole bunch of things about the buses where they say 8 foot from the bus stop poles.
But yeah, I read that. Yours
Right.
makes sense, because
Right.
people get off at the back of the
Right.
bus.
Otherwise, they're going to sit on the,
Yeah.
on the knees
You
of
can't
the
exit,
people.
you can't exit.
Right. So I think it needs to be changed to 75 foot. And then at the corners, I would think that we want space at the corner.
Yeah,
because usually you have 2 groups of people trying to get there, plus the ADA ramp, and it's a mess. And
Well,
so,
and the site of the DCA rules always had corner closures.
yes, and so I think we need to bring that back in. And then the coverings permitted by DOB, where we want to make sure we don't have those enormous storm enclosure, which are covering, making that like a sidewalk cafe, what we had last year.
Oh.
Because I had that
Why
on
are
my
they
family.
doing that?
Well, they are not explicit.
Okay.
Yeah, we gotta make sure that,
Right,
that
it's
they're
explicit.
prohibiting enclosed sidewalk cafes.
Right.
So what we don't want is for de facto enclosed sidewalk
Enclosed
cafes.
Okay, and on the roadway cafes, we still have a bus distance which is not specified, so same thing, it should be 75 long, right? The cafe
So you're talking
south,
about roadway, right?
yes,
Not
now I'm
sidewalk.
moving to roadway.
But the bus thing for sidewalk cafes, you want 75 foot?
Well, yeah, we
Because
have
the
that.
buses are
We
long.
have that on, the bus is 75 feet long and people can exit by the back.
But wait, but
You're asking about sidewalk. I think he's asking.
yeah,
about-
but don't sidewalk cafes still have to be against the building facade?
Still,
Yeah, they do, right?
still, if you have 8 feet, then you have the cafe, the buses offloading right there.
Okay.
I don't think this is a very good setup, right?
But 75 feet is gonna knock out a lot of.
They're not going to give us 70,
No,
they're going to give us 25.
okay, all right.
We know, if we are lucky, we're going to get 25.
Yeah, wouldn't you have to, because ADA, I mean, it's American.
No, the
Disabilities
ADA is at the front, it's the front of the bus.
The back of the bus is an
Right.
ADA.
The back of the bus, so.
Okay. I was like, we're talking about like,
We have
that's
this-
at 6 feet
Right.
over at
We have
certain
that
places.
situation at Manhattan Plaza, where the back of the bus offload into a bike parking.
Yeah.
So people are getting down and there is a whole bike parking there, which makes no sense, right? So it's a little bit of.
Oh, one good thing in these rules is they're requiring at least 3 feet between each roadway structure.
That's a minimum, that's not enough.
I wanted 5 feet.
Yeah.
But it's still in the right
Better
direction.
than nothing.
I said that to them, I said, this is the 5.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's better, but they at least recognize that
Right.
it's an issue. They can't,
Because you can't,
that they can't just line up one against the other.
no.
So you gotta walk around.
So then,
Prince Street, there's a section where you cannot,
when 46th Street, you have to go at the end of the.
you
street
have to
come back.
walk a mile to get
Crazy.
to the sidewalk on Prince Street.
All right.
Okay, so 8 feet from the pedestrian crossing for cars, I think it should be 20 feet. 20 feet is like daylighting, it's a
Mhm.
parking space. And we all have daylighting issues. And then there is the whole discussion about how they are going to enforce, which is crazy. You read it and you say, okay, they are never going to send a ticket. So my suggestion is we tell them, make it very simple.
Mhm.
Every time they go out, they give a notification and a summons. And after 2, there's a removal.
Yeah.
They are also saying if the operator says, oh, I didn't know it because my employee did it, then they don't get a ticket.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous, right?
What law, if you, just arrested,
This is like, yeah.
piece you didn't know.
This is the old days, the old days when the manager was saying, oh, I didn't know. And you say, okay.
That's why I've been,
But
right.
anyway, and then the removal, it doesn't say that the owner is going to pay for the removal. So if they are violating, then
Well-
nobody pays for the removal of the
The
thing.
building owner,
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it needs to be specified.
yeah, the
right?
building owner.
And then I have a whole list of
Otherwise,
clarifications.
it's us paying our taxes.
So we are missing some, right?
Yeah, but I'll talk to you offline about that.
Okay.
The major things we think are missing is they don't talk about service aisles.
The service eye, right?
Remember,
Aisle?
well,
Right, it's a
yeah,
3-foot service aisle.
under the old rules,
Mandatory was.
Yeah.
Looking between tables?
no,
What are you talking about? What?
On the edge, so the tables are lined up here and then against, and then you need 3 feet for the waiters to walk back and forth.
So they
outside
wouldn't
the
serve,
table.
they wouldn't serve from the sidewalk.
Right,
so think about it this way,
The service aisle is between the building and the table.
no, between the.
between the 8-foot pedestrian square path,
And.
That-
So
Wow.
you need 8 feet plus 3 feet, is what you're saying?
there has to be
That would
3
be
feet.
Right.
Yeah.
Chairs.
I don't, does it?
Yeah.
Well, I
And
mean,
then
And then the
What is the other one?
residential doors, whether you want 4-foot clearance or whatever
Yeah.
you want.
Right.
Zigzag, you said
Yeah,
was
so
covered.
Zigzag,
Uh,
we'll
That's the
clarify.
Only
service
seated
cafe.
patrons, is
That's
that
the
it?
server,
No.
3 foot, and that's,
Okay.
you know, us walking.
And then clearance from a
So
tree
there's
itself
always
with
been
a
a
flat.
3-foot service, so
We
you
have
count.
that. That's in there.
Tables to
Right.
here, that's
Even
always
without
been
it,
a
even
cafe.
without
Yes.
it.
Sorry, guys, we, on Zoom, we can't hear you when multiple people talk at
Yeah,
the same
sorry.
time. I'm
Yeah,
really,
we're-
I'm sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, no, none of it was, none of it, it was mostly crosstalk, so.
Okay.
They're just going through some minutia. They're gonna change about addressing the service aisle and
Mhm.
things like that.
So
So
that's it.
people can look at Christine's Excel and send small comments if you like, but are we generally okay with the thrust of the comments?
Absolutely.
And then transportation is going to look at it next week, tomorrow. And
Jesse's gonna write like a 20-page letter.
No, I-
This one's all Christine, that's why,
And then we'll wrap up, we'll write a testimony,
Mhm.
and then hopefully
Do you need community input?
All right, we checked on that. Okay, I guess we take a vote on this.
yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
now,
Christine.
Is there anyone from the community who wants to speak on this?
No, there's no one. Everyone's gone.
Okay, all right, so we have a motion to approve these. So this will be to submit a letter, a joint letter with transportation, and then to have someone represent us at the hearing itself next Monday.
Okay.
Yeah,
Motion to approve.
second. All in favor? Great, okay. Mike, your mic can carry. your-
I did, yes, sir.
All right, so Dylan, we're back to you.
All right, thank you. So yeah, made a few calls in the meantime. If the Hudson River Park Trust is saying 1 a.m., we'll amend. We'll do what Hudson River Park wants. Should we want to do anything later, we'll reach out to them as well as RXR and come back to you later with a plan where we'd have
Okay, so we will change both applications to closing at 1 a.m. night, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Which is kind of silly because people should, those are all venues out there that could be used for weddings and stuff, whoever, there's spaces out there, they should allow.
Yeah.
Stay longer.
That's the part.
No, I don't, I'm talking about the bar.
Yeah.
You need to talk to Lowell Curran, Jesse. He's your guy.
All right, Nellie, there's no one left to comment, right, from the community?
No, there's no one.
Okay, do we have a motion, again, for this? That wasn't meant for you, just for.
Did you see that?
Okay. All right, a motion with the 1 a.m. close?
Okay.
On both?
Yeah, okay, but let's take separate votes on number 8.
Yeah,
Motion,
yes.
second,
Yes.
all in favor?
Yeah.
Okay, same with number 9, we have a motion in 1 AM close.
Motion 1 AM close.
Okay, all in favor? Okay,
Thank you.
all right. Thank you. Thanks for getting clarification on that so quickly, Dylan. All right, we're all set. So committee approved it. It's gonna go to the full board on December 6th, but you know, it's a unanimous committee recommendation approval, so I doubt anything will come up there. All right, do you have any questions?
All set. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
I have a weird question.